I used to be a fighter, and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey ass out, though.
What? You sure?
It seems like this long-time beef between Katt Williams and Steve Harvey might be heading toward a real fight. So the big shift happened last week when Steve publicly threatened to knock the comedian out. And oh my, he didn't even try to sound nice. But guess what? You can't intimidate Katt with a bunch of bravado, and apparently, Katt just fired back at Steve, daring him to come and get what Harvey wanted. Now, it's no secret that Katt Williams has never been a fan of Steve Harvey, and he made it very clear at the beginning of this year with his explosive anti-Harvey rant at Club Shay.
And until you humble yourself, you will forever be kinged by the king.
You may hear nice things about Steve and his generosity, but Katt made that loud and clear earlier this year that Mr. Harvey is not a saint. Things between the two comedians have been tense since the dawn of time, but it escalated to a new level when Katt openly called Steve out for being a thief and a sellout. Steve didn't like that much but said nothing back then, making it look like he's all above the petty talk and accusations. But those who witnessed his recent rant full of resentment and anger know how deeply Harvey was hurt by Katt's words. I mean, he basically told I'm slow, but if you get up real close, I can still knock you monkey A out. I'd knock you short A out. I'll shoot you perm straight out your head. Well, you may think it's rather harsh, but let's not forget that Katt created rather a stir in the comedy world when he slammed Steve for stealing jokes from other comedians, and even accused him of stealing the entire show material of Mark Curry and passing it off as his own.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark...
According to Katt, Steve has built his entire career on the jokes and material of other talented people. Now, he's got his own show, but those who've seen Harvey at the beginning of his career know he's a total fake. At some point, Williams even subtly hinted that Steve had no real talent in anything, and show business wasn't interested in what he had to offer. You couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asked for a country. Bumpkin black dude that can't. Talk good and look like Mr. Potato Head. As many folks said, Katt laid it all out fair and square, and many people waited for Steve's response to these accusations. In fact, Harvey was portrayed as a total fake, a man full of arrogance and pretentious nature, and exposed for treating others as his help. Even the whole Kings of Comedy was Steve's show, according to Katt.
It was Steve's tour. Not it was going to be called the Kings of Comedy, it was Steve's tour.
And it looks like Steve already had enough exposure. But here's the thing, Katt wasn't going to make life easier for this man, and he wanted to destroy Harvey's reputation, which, as he claimed, was based on lies. Williams also accused Steve of lying about being homeless just to get sympathy from the public. According to Katt, Harvey has never been homeless a day in his life. And Steve actually got a lot of respect for making it big, despite the problems in his life. But it turns out it was all a lie to win people's hearts and mint more cash by selling his story right. For years, Harvey would bring up more details of his unfortunate living conditions, saying it was so disheartening. A week is really the maximum you can do. This was 3 years. It was rock bottom. But even in my darkest days, I had faith it would turn around. But in fact, at this very time, Steve was doing 5 shows a week, stacking cash, and yet he was spinning this story about being homeless. Apparently, Harvey didn't expect his lies to blow right into his face.
I don't care what you think of me, because you're not in my life that way.
According to Katt, Steve just keeps rewriting history, trying to make himself look better and win the public's affection. And apparently, Harvey had enough of this. Known for his style to ignore all the rumors that swirl about him, he first said nothing, but when other people from the industry joined Katt and backed his story, Steve went all mad. All this stuff is getting serious because apparently Katt's words hurt not only Harvey's pride, but also resulted in a significant blow to his reputation. May it happen that someone actually was digging into Steve's past actions and found out that everything that Williams was saying is true? Well, this theory may explain why Steve suddenly decided to go nuclear and even threaten Katt with real actions.
For wanting more, if you're willing to put in the work to go and get it.
It looks like every action has its consequences. But for Katt and Steve, this story may end quite sad. We all know Steve's association with shady folks, and if you happen to stand in the way of Harvey, you should prepare for a fight. But even with Steve trying to defend his honor, the public sympathies are still with Katt. Look at what they say about this. One person wrote, "Never liked Steve Harvey shows. Not authentic. K. Williams is right saying he is a fraud." And another user added, "They've been beefing since J Fox Radio, the Foxhole. Stuff been going on for years." And folks, the whole story is about to explode because Katt doesn't back down with his brutal claims about Steve and his alleged treacherous nature. After the interview, where he called out Steve Harvey, a lot of people started siding with Katt. They flooded Steve's social media, calling him out for being a fraud.
It really bugs, because at half the time, it ain't even necessary.
Steve, trying to act unbothered, decided not to respond directly and pretend like nothing happened. Instead, he posted a video where he talked about how haters are always going to say nasty things and that you shouldn't give them the satisfaction of reacting. I got somebody really attacking me right now. I mean, really going after me, man. I'm just waiting to see what God's going to do because they're going to have to get on. Can't nobody stop what God got for you. Steve tried to reassure the public that he's learned how to deal with haters, claiming that the only reason people have haters is because they're doing something that makes others jealous. Certainly, he hoped the hype about this interview to fade away real quick, but he didn't expect it to get so viral, but there was just too much truth in Katt's words.
Thanks for sharing
Thank you.
the stories, setting the record straight. Now you know they're gonna double back.
But Steve didn't show it first, and when addressing haters, he didn't say any names. But what happened next was the catastrophe for the comedian, as his lies were exposed. When the truth about Steve started coming out, people could finally see him for who he really was, a jealous and petty man. Add to this the accusations of him attempting to steal Bernie Mac's iconic role in Ocean's 11, a story as old as the time, which was later confirmed by other people. While the saga of Steve's betrayal was nothing but a gossip, it was Katt Williams who first revealed that there's more to the story. While Steve decided not to react to these claims, Ed Lover, a close friend of Bernie Mac, dropped a bombshell confirming that he had heard the same story directly from Bernie Mac.
Tried to get him taken off for the Oceans movie he did.
Ocean's 11.
It looks like people were right to be skeptical about Steve's innocence because after a full 7 months of letting Katt's interview sit out there, he finally decided to clap back. But by then, nobody was impressed with his weak response and vague speech about haters and God's punishment. In a recent interview, Steve went on another rant about haters, and it seemed like he was taking shots at Katt specifically. He said none of his haters were doing better than him and that if any of them mentioned him again, he'd go back to his old ways and knock them out. I want to say Katt Williams ain't S. I can't say it on the radio because I don't use my platform to bring anybody down, but when I'm live, I'll destroy your app. But if you think that Katt was scared, you know nothing about the man. He got used to have bullies around him since the dawn of time, and he's reportedly ready for whatever life will throw at him.
I don't know if you know how bullies operate.
I
but
do.
If you don't stand up for yourself, there really is nothing they won't do.
Right.
But like people on social media have been saying, Steve's been waiting for the right moment to make a movie. I mean, Katt's interview was aired many months ago, and the Family Feud host already lost all credibility because many folks are siding with Katt in this story. Steve, a thief lol, and Katt spits the truth. We love Katt for this, and among his many talents, Steve try harder brother. And another person added, it ain't nasty if it's the truth. Just saying. I hate the way Steve treated Bernie. I'm putting my money on Katt. Now, people are wondering what Steve's really trying to do with this sudden tough talk, and if he's secretly planning to go after Katt while the rest of the world is busy with other things. And guys, what's your opinion about this feud and Harvey's response? Do you think it'll eventually turn physical, especially considering Steve's shady nature? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to check my other videos.